What is going on, everyone on YouTube? So I was requested multiple times to end up doing a video on how I ended up putting this flashlight onto my shotgun. Okay, so before I start getting into the specifics about this shotgun, how I mounted it and whatever, I need to just say from the beginning, this shotgun has been in this configuration for a very long time. This is the way I end up doing my YouTube videos and doing the exercises. And also, this is the same gun that I will use in all my classes. So it has been beat to crap. I don't know if you can see that, but all that paint is gone right there. All the inside is absolutely beat to crap inside. You can kind of see that this is kind of chewed up. I'm going to move this forward. You can kind of see that, paint's missing. Like, this thing has been with me, I want to say maybe like 7-8 years or whatever, and I've been beating the living crap out of it. So when I tell you this is my setup, it's not a setup that I just put together yesterday and I'm putting a YouTube video together. I'm not doing that. I actively use this shit. And if you guys have been paying attention to the channel, or if not, I just got done doing a very, very huge ammunition test at 50 yards. And this gun was a part of it. Also, I did one at 25 yards. And this is the gun that I will go out and do skeet shooting with, even with that red dot here. But we'll get into that here in a minute. The focus is going to be the light, but I just want to tell you guys that, like, this gun does get used. This gun does get abused. So when I tell you I did something a certain way, yes, it has lived through some abuse. But anyway, we'll get started. So this is a protac rail mount HLX by Streamlight. Okay, I forgot the specs. I should have looked it up before the video, but either way, just so you can see, that's exactly what I have. And this right here is a 100 Concepts lens cap for this setup. And you can see I've had it there for a while, because you can see that this little rubber thing that's holding the, I think, the 550 cord or whatever, it's starting to like degrade and rip apart. I might have to get a new Ranger band. I think that's what this is, right? Okay, so there's that. The mount, I almost forgot, which is the most important part. That is an Arisaka mount, and this goes on M-LOK. You can see that's their emblem right there. And then this is a Arisaka Scout mount. So basically, this Streamlight actually just ends up, since it's a Scout setup or whatever, they have their proprietary setup, so it can go into Picatinny, which comes with the light already, right? But you can unscrew that whole assembly, and then this Streamlight ends up going right into the Arisaka Scout mount, basically kind of like a Surefire or whatever. So when we flip over, you can see that we have the pressure pad. Now, this light is a little bit older. What's called on the newer Streamlights, they have the pad, which is just the temporary, and then the on-off is going to be on the light itself. So on the tail cap, on the new ones, they have it to basically, like, the on-off button is here, and this is temporary only. Me personally, because of the way this setup is, I actually like the old caps with this old pressure pad setup. Hold up, let me scoot the shotgun back so I can get it in the middle of the screen here. But either way, I honestly prefer it this way, because if I have to reach to the other side to turn, like, let's say if I wanted to leave it on, now I have to reach to the other side. Yes, I'm a right-handed individual, so my thumb will basically be over here. So I can easily either activate this or just, do that number here. I had it a lot more forward. As you can see, like, these screws were a lot more forward and a lot higher. But also, if you look, you can kind of see the residue right here where the Scout mount was. It was all the way in the front. But, like, my God, with the magazine tube loaded and then this light all the way in the front, it just got way too front heavy. So that's why I ended up moving it back. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cable. Right here, I mean, this thing has gone back, back and forth so many times, especially with how many shells. It's a pump gun, so it's going to go back and forth. But you can kind of see right here that it's kind of pulling out a little bit. Let me get better light. It's kind of pulling out a little bit, but it hasn't damaged anything, which I'm very happy about. So, yay, Streamlight. This doesn't really have any tension on it, but if you notice, it's kind of like it's naturally wanting to push itself closer to the forend, which I did on purpose. And the way I did that, if you can see, I'm going to try to balance this on the red dot, but you can see that this right here will come out 90 degrees on the end, right? And then to try to get this to go a little bit closer to the forend, because it was kind of like a little bit higher, right? And not really getting really close to the forend, I ended up taping it right here. So that way this would naturally want to push itself down closer to the forend. So that way, you know, I get it to do this, but it's not stressed over here. And this is not stressing this out either as well. And then also what I would do to kind of also protect the cable, I would have a slug here and just leave it there. And it's kind of hard for this part right here to get caught, because literally if I position the slug right there, it's anything, if I were to place this forend on anything, the slug and this 3D printed part right here, the shell holder, would get damaged way before the cable would be touched. Right, so that's something I did. However, I am going to end up getting rid of this slug and I might end up just taping the solid so the cable can't move. We'll see how that ends up affecting, because I'm finding myself in need of being able to place this forend all the way down, so that way I can kind of like, let's say if I'm trying to do a shot with a slug, right? I'm finding myself in, like, if I'm holding a barricade or whatever, let me see if you guys can catch this over here. But if I put my hand here and I have the shotgun grabbing it like this, I find that this is way more stable when I'm shooting slugs, and then this gets in the way. Although it protects my cable, when I was doing the 50-yard shots, this kind of became a problem. And it also, this thing is already like 3 years old, but when I was shooting, it was recoiling really bad, going into the bag, and it cut it open. So a brand new $40 bag, this thing just split open, which I was really not happy about. But either way, I really actually like it. It's never gotten in the way of anything until I did the 50-yard test with the buckshot. So there's that. However, I think I've seen some guys where they run cables or whatever on their rifles, on the AR-15s, and then they end up taping, like, basically the forend, the tube, or the handguard. I'm sorry, they end up taping the handguard, and then they trap all the wires, so the wires themselves can't get caught. So I'm looking to maybe end up doing something like that, so that way the wire can't get caught, it can't get pulled or whatnot. But I'm really worried that if I take this out and I take out the slug or whatnot, and I try to shoot in a position to where I'm doing like the C-clamp or the reverse C-clamp like that, and I'm holding onto a barricade to try to stabilize a shot that I'm trying to do farther with the slug, that when the gun recoils, that part is going to get messed up. And the reason why, and I was thinking of taking this and moving it a little bit back, right, to try to relieve this a little bit more, but also this cable would also end up being further back. And then we just have shit that's just more further back. And if I put my hand here, I don't know, you know, if the gun is going to end up recoiling on top of the cable, which is kind of a problem, which I don't want. And that's definitely a benefit, that if you are semi-automatic and you don't have a forend like this, you're definitely going to have a benefit, because let's just say a 1301, right? They have basically I forgot what this is called now, but either way, these slots, that's so embarrassing. But either way, these slots right here, they have them here so you could put the light here, so you can have the bottom completely clean. But there are some people, what they'll do is they'll run the cables over the top of the heat shield. I am not a fan of that, and I've seen people run the cable over the gun with no heat shield, and I'm like, I mean, to me, you're asking to cook your stuff indefinitely, right? So when you need it on, it's gonna suck. But I've seen police officers end up doing that, where the wires are over. I do not want to go over, because I think that's gonna end up getting caught. And also, if you're carrying it and the shotgun is close to you, and let's just say your body's right here, right, and you're basically having your shotgun in the low ready, and you put this stuff right here, I feel like it could get caught on your gear and end up breaking the cable. But right here, again, you have the way I had it, you have a slug right here, you have something in the way. So if something is hitting against here, you're going against the pad. If something is right here, you're going against the shell. If something is right here, guess what? You're going against the light. And I've never found where this cable got caught. So that's why I like going under. But what I may end up having to do is make something that is M-lock. That's the freaking name. It's funny how things come back to you, right? But I might end up doing something to where I make an M-lock or something that goes in here that allows the wire to go through and under. But basically, you know what? That's actually a great idea. I'm glad I'm talking to this on camera. Maybe this could be a solution or a product for shotguns, right? So you have something that goes across here that is M-lock, but has a slot or different slots for wires can go under, right? So if I were to place this forend on something and then I fire, it can slide on the M-lock piece and not damage your wire. I'm gonna 3D print and design something like that. That'll be pretty cool. And also, if you're interested in something like this, this is nylon carbon material, this has been here for like 3 years. But like this thing is pretty strong, dealt with the heat, and this is a Federal slug, but I mean it hangs onto it. It's tight enough to hold on and squeeze onto the shell, but you could open it up and try to. Oh damn, that's actually kind of tough. Let me push this. Either way, it won't go anymore, but it's holding the shell fine. That's a slug. And this is buckshot, SMB. So if you put this right here, it's a little tighter, but either way, it's holding it. And if you really want to get it out, it'll come out. But either way, you know what? Now I really want to make that piece. I really want to make that M-lock piece. Sorry for hitting you guys. But I really want to make that M-lock piece so it slides on that piece instead of damaging the cable. I think that'll be great. But I personally, really like the cable going under the forend, even though that's an issue. But I think with that product or whatever, we can easily come up with something that works. I don't think it's going to bother your hand either, right? Oops, hitting all my stuff here. But if my hand is right here and underneath, I don't think it's gonna bother too much, right? That's just me. But either way, I think it'll be fine. Also, the other thing I like about the pad, enough about product development, but the other thing I like about the pad, I don't know if you just saw, but I know if you guys have messed with the magpul forend, there's a little bit of a hump right here, right? And the same thing on the other side. So if you're holding it like this, I guess it's okay, but I almost feel like there's not enough grip on the forend sometimes. So naturally with the light here, oops, I really hit you guys that time, my bad. But I'm a really short person, so my hand ends up back here anyway, majority of the time. You see, like I'm actually gonna grab it for real. But if I'm grabbing it and shouldering it, right, I'm gonna move my hand over. But that's where my hand lands, right? So look at where my thumb lands, right here. I'm grabbing this part with my fingertips, right? And then I'm actually pushing down with my thumb. And that's how I end up grabbing it. I put it right here. And then at any point in time, if I want to turn on this light, let me take off the cap so you guys can see it. But if I want to turn on this light, boom. I still have my grip here and I can, right? But you have to deal with that flicker. You see that? I had an O-ring in here, but I got to get a different size O-ring to keep pressure on the battery. That could be its own video. But, or maybe I can talk about it here. But either way, I like to put my thumb here. So that way I push down and then I fight against my fingertips here. So basically I'm grabbing it like that. That's the way I like to run my stuff. Okay, so that's the way that I've done it for a very, very long time. And it's always worked. And like I said about the O-ring here, obviously with the pump action, you're going to have a lot of back and forth, a lot of recoil. I took out the O-ring because it was becoming a problem, not getting good contact, but basically it prevented the battery to go back and forth. That's basically what I was putting O-rings in. The O-rings were they were from an AC. If you go to like Advanced Auto Parts or AutoZone and you get those O-ring packs, so that way you can like change out the seals while you're doing your AC on your vehicle. They come in varying sizes, and then you could put it in here to make sure that the battery doesn't move back and forth or whatnot. But I took it out because I was using it for a while, but it ended up becoming a problem. But obviously the streamlight still works, even though I'm banging it back and forth, using it, all the recoil, whatnot. So I highly recommend that light. It is a little bit heavy. It's not the lightest. If you want the lightest stuff, you're going to have to go with the rail mount 1 or rail mount 2. That's going to be the lighter ones. And maybe those, since they're lighter, if you like the light a little bit more forward, because like, yes, there is a little bit of barrel shrouding or whatever. Maybe I'll, let's see if I can do it. I'm trying not to, show my face, but either way. So if I light this right here, see how you can see the barrel of the shotgun, like right there? But I'm going to move this back. When you go back, obviously you see more of it, but that's not going to be the position this stays in. You have to go back forward. Is it really that big of an issue? Probably not. Honestly, I tried this out at night when I was doing that 50-yard test because it got late, and this is perfectly fine. I have no issue with this. Yes, if it was more forward, would it be better? You could say yeah. Is it really that big of a deal? No. In my honest opinion, if you get a light that has a very high candela, that distance right there, let me scoot this back. That distance right there is really not going to be that big of an issue. But that's how I ended up mounting this. And that's the way, like if I were to do this again on another pump gun, I would run this the exact same way because it works. But now since I babbled on about that, to manage the wires underneath with the M-lock, then I'm definitely going to have to do it. Before somebody else takes it, because I am going to put this on YouTube unedited as I am, because I'm just rambling away here. But anyway, that's the way I would do it. If you guys have any suggestions, or you guys liked or didn't like, or you're like, hey, I wouldn't do it like that, this is the way I'm doing it, comment down below. I like talking with you guys in the comments. As of right now, also, I tried looking for the Surefire Forend, so that the one that comes with the light, and it looks like it is discontinued and you can't buy it. I want to say on eBay I did find a few of them, but they look to be used. I don't think Surefire is making them anymore. You still have the Streamlight TL tracker. However, I've heard a lot of people talk bad things about the TL tracker. Yes, it's shotgun rated or whatnot, but a lot of people said it's very big, it's very bulky, and then also the pressure pad on the TL tracker is way too sensitive. On this one, I have to put, let me take the cover off. On this one, I have to put a decent amount of pressure for it to turn on, which is great. I mean, if you're shooting this thing and you're using it and you have a shit ton of adrenaline, turning this on is not an issue. But if you have something that's overly sensitive, it definitely will be a problem. But that's my honest opinion. But either way, tell me what you think. Do you like the setup? Do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you run your light? Definitely want to hear your feedback. I always like commenting or commenting back to you guys' comments, because honestly, that's my favorite part of the YouTube channel, just talking away in the comment section. But either way, you guys have a blessed day and take it easy.